What is up, my Squirtleites? It is I, your king. Welcome you back to more Let's Play Pokemon White. In the last episode, we managed to take down Gym Leader Clay here in Driftveil City, netting us our 5th gym badge. In this episode, however, we need to go meet Clay out on Route 6 because that's where our TM is being held hostage. Yeah, he didn't give us a TM at the end of that battle, which is a little bit annoying, but regardless, we're going to be heading on out that way and seeing if we can track him down, but I'm sure we're going to be running into someone along the way, and look who it is, it's Bianca! Oh, hi, Levi. Where are you at? There you are. Hey, were you at the gym just now? Oh, hey, that's Driftveil gym badge. That's totally cool. That's amazing. No, I can't get distracted being all impressed with your shiny new badge. I'm also a trainer. At times like this, you battle, right? And it's a good thing I just healed because we're going into a quick battle against Bianca. So let's do this thing. And Naz is lagging a little bit behind in the experience department. So he is going to be the star of the show this time. Let's begin with a Herdier. All right. So I'm just going to be using standard side beams and air cutters for all this. Obviously, Intimidate's going to take effect, and Herdier is going to hit like a truck. Luckily, we have Reflect for this exact reason. So let's throw that out first because I know that it's going to try to hit really hard with something like Crunch. Does reduce its damage by quite a bit, although that lowered defense is not a nice thing to see. Should be long enough, though, that we can at least knock you out and hopefully do enough damage where Bianca doesn't heal you, which I don't think she will, because the next side beam should more than finish the job. So, and also raising special attack, probably not going to do a lot of good for Herdier. I think it's his worst stat, if I'm not mistaken. So workup is kind of useful, but not really, honestly. But there we go. Next we got Panseer. Still a Panseer, not quite a Simiseer. Which, I mean, this thing's only level 26. Yeah, well, I guess Herdier was also level 26, but the fact that it hasn't even evolved one stage means it's going to be pretty easy to take care of. I'm sure Bianca's going to use her healing now, given that this thing is in the red. So I'm actually just going to get an air cutter off. There it is. So I don't do as much damage this time to encourage her healing. And then we will use a side beam again after the fact. Although that amnesia is going to offset things a little bit as well. So, oh, critical hit. You know what? That helps. Never mind. I will take it. And last but not least is Duat. Could switch on over to Arthur, but now we'll just stick with Naz for this because he is in need of experience. Now, I did mention in the last episode we were going to be getting ourselves a new team member soon. That is not going to happen in this episode. It is not going to happen until the next episode. I can promise you that. We still have a little ways to go before we get to where that team member is at. Oh, come on, Naz, hang in there. Wow. Gosh dang it. I can't believe that second side beam didn't knock Duat out. I thought for sure that was going to happen. Well, I guess Arthur is going to get all the experience for this one. I need to go do a little bit of healing anyway, immediately after the fact. Well, I guess not anyway. I just did some healing, but I need to go hit the Pokemon Center because I remember there is actually something I forgot. I needed to pick up some extra net balls going into this next area, as well as dusk balls, because we are actually going to be heading into a cave relatively soon. So now, ooh, your Muna's a Masharna now. Now, isn't that interesting? Well, let's see how much Leaf Blade does on its own without any assist and any super effectiveness. Be some good damage. Yeah, that's pretty nice right there. I love to see it, especially with how tanky Masharna is. That's pretty awesome. Okay, I am going to just use a return on this one because there's no way I'm going to two-shot this thing. So let's just do a little extra damage. Oh, the hypnosis. How mean. Well, I'm just going to use an awakening here. Kind of bad for me or you, Bianca? I honestly think it's bad for me. It means I have to heal real quick. I did grab a bunch of full heals, though, between episodes. I just forgot to grab those Pokeballs from the other person at the Pokemon Mart, so oops. That's my bad. But I think as soon as Bianca leaves, I will go do that, and then I'll meet you back here. What the heck? How did it survive? Oh, my goodness. This Masharna won't go down. It's so tanky. I really thought for sure that was going to be it. Even with those defense... Well, I guess the defense girls don't help against Leaf Tornado anyway. And down you go. All right. Pretty good experience. Bianca loses. She feels bad about it, but probably not as bad as before. Haven't had a Pokemon battle with you in a while, Levi. You've become totally strong, huh? I'm not that strong, so I don't know how to say it, but I think you're way tuned into how your Pokemon feel. Oh, you know what? I want to share this HM with you, Levi, and we get the HM4 Fly. Would you look at that? My papa gave it to me after he tried to take me home that time. I'm sure it's so I can come home anytime he wants, though. Oh, hey, I have to share this with Charon, too. See you, Levi. Bye-bye. Well, it looks like we need to get ourselves a flying Pokemon. You might be thinking, hey, what about Naz? Well, no, I am not going to be giving a physical flying move to my Sigilyph. It's just not happening. I know that seems a little bit obvious to people, but no, I got to get myself an HM-specific Pokemon if I want to do that. In fact, the other thing I'm going to do while we are here is something probably I'm jumping in the gun on a little bit, but I don't even care. I'm going to head on over to the PC, and I'm going to be depositing one of the Pokemon in my party, and that is Marty. It's been a good run, buddy, but in you go. I'm sorry. And that is going to be it for him. So I'll meet you guys back out towards the gate in just a second after I hit up the mart and grab a couple of things. All right, 10 Net Balls, 10 Dusk Balls, and plenty of Ultra Balls. We should be good to go from here on out. All right, welcome to Route 6. There are actually a few new Pokemon that can be gotten here, including one that can only be caught in the winter, which is Vanillite. Now, that's technically not new because we did already encounter Vanillite back in the cold storage, but I did want to make mention of that. But as for the other new Pokemon that can be gotten here, let's talk about Deerling, Carablast, and Fungus. Deerling is a normal and grass-type Pokemon that evolves into Sawsbuck at level 34. With high base attack and speed stats, this thing can find its place on your team as a solid grass sweeper, doing that job almost a little bit better than something like Serperior. The problem is this thing is practically made of glass, not just for its below-average defense and HP stats, but even more so for the 6 weaknesses this thing has. Grass alone has the 5, but adding the normal type also gives it a weakness to fighting. And although it does give it a little more room to work with in the stab department, that alone can be extremely off-putting, so unless it's one-shotting a lot of Pokemon, a job it doesn't do well enough to offset its bad sides, it can be a tough sell. However, its signature move is Horn Leech, which is a very good HP stealing move with a base power of 75, making it the physical counterpart to Giga Drain, and quite possibly the reason to go with Sawsbuck. Once again, I have to give this my It's Up to You seal of approval. It has about as many pros as it has cons. Fungus is a grass and poison type Pokemon that evolves into Amoonguss at level 39. For a type combination that's so common across the games in the series, it's interesting that this is the only one in Generation 5. And it's a pretty good combination at that, but does that make this a good Pokemon? No, not really. Its HP stat is its best stat, which should already be a red flag in most instances, and while it is an overall pretty good defensive Pokemon, none of its attacking stats are much to write home about, nor good enough to make up for its terrible speed. We've talked about the slow Pokemon across this game before, but all of them have had attacking stats to make up for how slow they are. Amoonguss just kinda doesn't. Its overall stats are just not that good, and it isn't like it learns any stellar moves you can't get from other grass or poison type Pokemon. This Pokemon is just there to replace the Voltorb family for the title of most likely to be mistaken for an item in the overworld. Carablast is a bug-type Pokemon that gains a Steel type when it evolves into Escavalier when traded for Shelmet. Escavalier itself is a fantastic Pokemon with ridiculously good defenses and a 135 base attack stat to make up for its extremely low 20 base speed. It also learns a lot of the absolute best bug and Steel type moves in the game. You really can't go wrong with this Pokemon unless you're putting it out against fire types. However, there is a major catch, or, well, a couple of them. First of all, what you get with Carablast does not at all prepare you for what you get with Escavalier. The interesting thing about this family and the Shelmet family is that they kind of switch roles when traded. So you go from a kind of speedy attacker with no defenses to a very slow but hard-hitting wall. So you have to raise it with that in mind. The trading requirement is also very steep as there is no in-game method for this. You have to trade with a friend if you want this Pokemon to evolve, and that's rarely an easy option, especially now that the Wi-Fi services are discontinued. But if you can manage to overcome those hurdles, this is an absolutely phenomenal Pokemon, and I can't recommend it enough. With all that in mind, let's continue. So like I said, we got a few trainers to go through on this route, as well as a couple of other places to stop by. We're also going to want to try to catch a new Pokemon on this route, one of the ones that I mentioned before. However, this is not going to be a new team member. It's not going to be a Pokemon we're going to be using permanently. In fact, it is this thing right here, a Deerling, that I'm going to want to try to get my hands on. It's for reasons that we're going to be running into a little bit later. So let's just start by taking these things out. Use an air cutter. Very, very simple. That grass typing is going to help me and do wonders. Naz should be able to get pushed to level 30 off of that. No problem. And then Scientist William has been defeated. Okay, I got a Super Repel active here, so we should be fine. Let's just head up here. I wish I could get to that item, but unfortunately I cannot. And, oh, I thought I was going to actually be doing battle against you, but I am not. But I will be battling this Pokemon Ranger here. Totally in sync. Using our amazing connection, I will teach you all about rangers. I mean, I think we've met plenty of you. We already know what your shtick is. After we beat you, you give us a berry. It's great and all, but That's really all there is to it. Ooh, a Malga. Interesting. Not what I was expecting to run into here, but I can handle that. So, let's just start with this. Let's just use Psybeam. Yeah, I think we should be able to two-shot this thing no problem. Not going to sit here and waste time trying to get a Light Scream or Reflect Off and anticipate what it's going to use next. I think Amalga would be using a Spark, so Reflect would be the play, but not that it really matters. Down you go, and there we are. And next is a Deerling, so again, we'll just use Air Cutter for you. And we're already approaching the, well, probably the thing about this route that is the most important at the moment, and that thing is a research lab that is just around the corner. And we're going to want to be checking that thing out. Sorry about that cut. Let's continue and do battle against this lady here. Pouring Rain fighting Pokemon. She is just enjoying her time. And it's not pouring rain, by the way. The weather is nice and clear, but that's mainly because it's summer. And you don't get rain as often in the summer as you do in the spring. Or even the fall, I think. I could be wrong about that part, but I know the spring is where it is mostly intended. This route is kind of like very spring-themed in a lot of ways for multiple reasons, due to the Pokemon you find here as well as the research lab itself, which we are coming up on here soon. I probably should also be using my dowsing machine out here. Why have I not been doing that? That would make way too much sense, although I don't actually think there are any hidden items on this route. I'm not 100% on that, or at least, again, as far as what we can access, but the more I think about it, yeah, I don't know if there are any. I'll throw out the dowsing machine just in case, but I could be doing so for no reason whatsoever. So down you go, and Naz hits level 31. Slowly but surely catching everyone else. Wants to learn Synchronoise. Let's talk about this move really quick. I am not going to be teaching this move to Naz, but I do want to show it off. Using an odd shockwave, the user inflicts damage on any of Pokemon of the same type in the area around it. So Synchronoise is a pretty powerful move, but it's an extremely conditional move and not one that I'm going to be teaching to Naz for that reason. It's not really much better than Psybeam. It's actually not better than Psybeam in really any way except for the raw damage, and it's, yeah, there's just no point in teaching it to him. So let's go with Tympole. So, like, it's got, like, an application. Like, if you go into, like, a double battle or whatever, it's really good against, like, if they've got two Pokemon of the same type, it can be really nice. But otherwise, I'll just be sticking with Psybeam for the off chance of causing confusion. It's a lot better. Plus, there is a much better Psychic move that we'll be teaching to Naz in due time. I was going to say in no time, but no, that's not true. It's going to take a little while before we get to that point. All right. So there is the research lab ahead. One more scientist stopping us in our tracks. And you've got another Deerling. There's probably a reason why all of these scientists are rocking Deerlings. I mean, I would have to imagine so. It can't just be a coincidence, right? Well, you'll see in due time. Let's use another Air Cutter. Oh, no, not the X attack. Whatever are you going to do with that? Probably nothing, because you're going to faint in one hit. What, am I supposed to be worried about, like, Stomp or something? I know you don't have Horn Leech or anything like that. So let's head on inside and see what's going on in here. We'll grab the items in a second. Let's talk to each of these people. First things first. Some Pokemon change their appearance depending on the season. Could that also be considered a type of evolution? Clouds is very cold to the touch. Plants inside the case have lost all their leaves. Temperature and humidity inside the case next to me are controlled by a machine. This is the Season Research Lab. Twist Mountain, just beyond Mr. Alton, has snow depending on the season. And what do you have to say, sir? We research changes in nature that occur due to the seasons. Consider the Pokemon called Deerling, which lives in this forest. Its appearance is said to change according to the season. This characteristic is of great interest to us. We want to research this Pokemon and observe its seasonal changes. That is why we developed a marvelous climate control system that transcends the seasons and allows us to freely adjust to temperature and humidity. Up to this point, everything has been fine, but we are very, very busy and haven't had really a chance to catch many Deerling to study, so this is what we'd like to ask you. First, please capture a Deerling. Then, when its appearance changes, could you bring it back to the lab? Then, when we've confirmed the change to the Deerling you bring us, we will also go search for that season's Deerling. How about it? If you don't mind, would you please show us what Deerling looks like now? I don't actually have one, but I will be going and catching one here soon. Also, what the heck? You have a scientist right there, and another one further down the route, who all have Deerling on them. This lady might have Deerling on her too. Are you lying to me? I know you have Deerlings. Do they not work with the Institute? It's very odd that there is a research institute here, and also scientists here. That can't be a coincidence. I know you work together. I am being lied to. You're using me. Anyway, I'm going to be catching a Deerling as soon as I get a chance to here, probably between episodes, because I don't think we're going to make it through. Oh, we might make it through the remainder of this route in the next episode, but we're definitely not going to be making it into the cave and also meeting up with Clay in this episode. So Let's just continue. And look, another one! Look, another one. Y'all are liars. I see your game. I see your angle. There's Deerling right here. And these ones will change with the seasons, too. I'm not changing no seasons on you. The seasons change on their own, month to month. Don't be freaking throwing this cockamamie. Never mind. All right, so this is another thing we're going to be encountering in here is this right here. We got funguses all over the place. These funguses are basically only here to disguise themselves as Pokeballs, much like how Voltorb used to do it back in the day. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's nothing really special about these Pokemon. They just are there to look hilarious and throw you off and make you think that they're an item. And they're real jerks for it, honestly. Half the items here are funguses. The other half are items. That's pretty much all you need to know. And I don't think a single one of them is a straight-up Amoonguss, not on this route, at least. I don't think you're going to be running into any of that, actually, until the sequel, now that I think about it. But regardless, let's just continue. And this lady's got Vanillites here. Vanillite, cast form walked so that Vanillite could run, and I know that they're not like technically the same in terms of like the way that they behave, but certainly in terms of design, they do seem very, very similar. Also, both very weather-dependent Pokemon. Plus, Vanillite's just a way better. Unfortunately, I wish cast form didn't suck so bad, but it really does. It's not a good Pokemon. Like it's like, oh, you can slot this into your weather. I mean, that's really the best application for it is that you can just give it all of the weather types so you can slot it into any weather team if you want to be lazy about it, but it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. You might as well just get something that has like drizzle on it or something like that. Got a leaf stone here. We'll definitely take that. And right here we got another fungus, so let's just air cutter this thing really quickly. And then we'll battle the Pokemon Ranger and continue. We're almost done with this route. There's only a few more trainers left to take down. Like I said, I don't think there are any hidden items out here, so I'm kind of not bothering, but I will do a little sweep between episodes just to be absolutely sure. And the next episode, we will start it by showing a Deerling to the scientists at the Research Institute. So let's battle you next, and then I believe there is a hiker on the bridge up ahead, which is fine. And the reason I'm using Naz so much right here is because in the cave we're about to go into, I don't want to be using Naz at all. So I want to get him as much experience as I can before I start to really run ahead, particularly with Arthur. Arthur is probably going to be evolving into Superior in the next area. And the more that I can just use him and Crush without running into any mercies. Although Crush, we're still waiting on that last rare candy, which I think there is one inside the cave somewhere. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure there is. But there we go. A little bit more experience. And then we got Amalga. We'll just use a Psybeam a couple of times. Every time I say Amalga, it makes me think of Odalwa because they're probably that's probably the only like semi-rhyme you could possibly come up with for both of those names. And I don't know why. I honestly can't tell you why that makes me think that. It's just the way you pronounce Amalga is a little silly, I guess. So, ow, that's going to hurt a lot. All right, let's try another Psybeam. So you have Shockwave. I was expecting you to have Spark, but I was wrong. So Light Screen would actually be the play on these guys. And down you go, level 32 for Naz. Not bad. You defeated Richard. Richard! If I use this, will my Pokemon also become energetic? No, but they will actually stop them from being I was going to say electrified? Yeah, electrified. That's the word. I couldn't think of the word for a second there. Oh, my goodness. All right. Hello. How you doing? Chargestone Cave seems like a complicated maze, but actually it is a straight road. Well, we're going to have to check it out in due time. What's this place? Oh, nothing. Maybe I can head on inside. Is this a place where I can heal? It looks like it. Oh dear, your Pokemon. Somehow they don't seem well. You should rest here for a little while. Can't go anywhere when you're not feeling well. Well, thank you, a rural lady living off in the forest. What a sweetheart. What's your kid got to say? Mister, here, have this. And we obtained a shiny stone, of which you really can't find all that many in the game. So thanks, girl. I appreciate that. It's about the season to go to the Celestial Tower on Route 7. I have to ring the bell for my Petalil. Oh, that suddenly sounded really somber and sad. Maybe we'll find out a little bit more about that a little bit later on. Here on Route 6, there's a place called Chargestone Cave. Supposedly deep in that cave, you can find an amazing Pokemon called Cabalion. who is said to have protected Pokemon from a sea of fire in ancient Unova. If you have a move called Surf that lets you move over the water surface, maybe you can see Cobalion. Well, hopefully we'll be able to get that at some point. But for now, guys, that is going to be it for this episode of Let's Play Pokemon White. Thank you all so very much for watching. In the next episode, I will be, like I said, we'll be making our way back to the Weather Institute. I will have a Deerling in tow. I'll make sure to catch one between episodes. Bring that over there, and then we will be making our way up to Chargestone Cave, which is just ahead. And in there, we are going to be finally capturing ourselves our 4th team member. So with all that said, I will see you all in the next one.